So Alfred, first of all, he's a hip hop artist and teacher, and he actually, and it's like his religion also. So he's connected to the temple of hip hop, right? And so it's a whole actual, like, it's not just about music. It's about a level of consciousness. It's a lifestyle. It's right? Am I right? It's about uplifting consciousness. And so basically, not only is he an amazing performer, as you'll see later if you haven't seen, he's an amazing poet and lyricist.
But he's
a
brilliant.
professor. So he's a student and he's a teacher. He has a residency here at Blue Hill Farm. He's probably performed here at like 8 or 9 of our 10 or 11 events, right? And we've watched the evolution of him and him bring new music out. And we're super proud of him. He performed at the last Music and Sky at a beautiful sunset set on Saturday night.
Epic.
And he just came back from going on tour with KRS-One. Who's basically like the godfather of conscious hip hop, I would say. And
Who also goes by the teacher.
And Alfred had the opportunity to open for him a couple of times, once at Venice West and again at Venice West. So pretty cool. There's some cool video. I'm sure he can share that with you. But this isn't about rap, what he's about to do. He's going to rap at you, with you.
Music with us later.
Yeah. But anyway, so... I guess that's enough. Are you professor when you speak too, or are you only when you're rapping? I'll be Alfred right now. You're Alfred right now. Okay, so our very good friend we love dearly, and welcome to the stage again, Alfred Duarte.
What was the name?
Hello, peace to everybody. And I want to start off with peace, because in order to properly receive when a transmission is going out, there has to be something that's putting the transmission out. There has to be something ready to receive the transmission. So anything that might be on your mind, any distractions, anything taking your awareness somewhere else, just take a moment to let that all go and be ready to receive. Going to use this gift of breath. Breath means spirit. So we're going to use this gift of breath to channel in the spirit and give you guys the message in the best way possible. So today we're talking about our hidden lineage. What does that have to do with anything? A lot of us know about our lineage, and we might think that this has something to do with history or where our grandparents are from, where our great-grandparents are from, Tartaria, things like that, about the history being erased. But I want to focus a little bit different today. So one of the lineages that we know for sure is our genetic lineage. And each one of us here, children present, so I'm just going to spell it out. If it wasn't for intimacy, intercourse, that stuff, none of us would be here today. So through that lineage, our genetic lineage, we come from the male and the female uniting. It takes 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, and so on and so forth for us to be here today. And even looking at that word lineage, we're looking at how the line ages, right? So the way the line ages, we're taught something called the timeline. And when we're looking at historical events, the timeline will start on this side, right? BC, it moves forward to that 0 part where Christ was said to have existed and lived. And then we get into the AD part, which we're at right now. Alfred Duarte. So for the lineage, time doesn't exactly move linearly. Time moves cyclically. If you begin to study astrology, you'll notice that every year the sun cycles through the same zodiac sign, and during that month we celebrate what we call our birthdays, and that's similar for all the other planets. So time doesn't exactly move in a linear fashion, and in this case, with our genetic lineage, with the things that we inherit from our mother, father, and every predecessor that came before us, we remember that in this particular lineage that we have inherited, if anybody makes one mistake or makes one different decision, then we're not here anymore. If our parents or great-grandparents decided to break up and never got back together, or somebody got mad at someone else, then we wouldn't be here today. If we had too many drinks that one night that we can't remember, we probably wouldn't have been here today. We're having some kind of experience with our consciousness, and we made a decision that we wanted to test the limits of reality, we wouldn't be here today. So as far as our genetic lineage goes, that's the most basic, and that's also, we're carrying that lineage, and eventually one day we're going to unite with another being of the opposite gender, And this is if we want to have children, right? We're going to unite with them and we're going to create the offspring. And the offspring is going to carry that genetic lineage onto the next state. But something interesting about this manifestation is that when they come in, it is genetic, but there's also a soul or a spirit that is entering into this being, into this body. And as that soul is coming into this planet, they talk about birthmarks. What do they say? Does anybody know what do they say about a birthmark? What does it mean?
I've heard different things.
They died. Touched by a demon.
My man, right here. It says that that's where you died in your last life. So if we look at birthmarks, what it's implying is that we had a past life. In the conscious community, with hypnotherapy, with all these different modalities, we know that there's a lot of reference to a past life. We say there's an idea of karma. So besides us having this lineage, which is our genetic lineage, which we're well aware of, there's also this karmic lineage. Maybe we were let's say there's a cow out here today, right? That's none of us, right? We all got into this human form. But if there's a cow out there, one can easily say maybe that cow used to be a butcher in a past life. And that's why that cow is experiencing that right now. If we have misfortune, we might say, you know what? We must have done some very bad or shitty things in the past. And that's why we have to deal with this now. I don't know much about it, but there's talks about, soulmates, twin flames, karmic relationships, and things like that. But the whole idea about this lineage of karma is that the same way the DNA and the genes combine and continue this physical lineage that we're in, all the decisions that we've ever made with past lives and even this life right now, we're experiencing right now in the flesh, things that you might have done when you were younger. Let's say somebody burned their hand or they had a bad diet, they had diabetes, had to get an arm or something amputated or anything like that. All of that stuff adds up and gets us to this point that we're at now. But the question you might be is, okay, this guy's talking about my genetics. I already know about this. This guy's talking about karma. We've already heard about this. It's talking about this hidden lineage. What is so hidden about this lineage and what is this guy talking about? And this is what I want you guys to consider. Just explore this idea. And what is the idea? The idea is that the same way we're a continuation of our parents and our parents' parents genetically, the same way we're a continuation of this soul's experience karmically, we're also a continuation of ideas. In a presentation called Black History, which would later become Black Austery, KRS-One presents us with this idea of austery. And what austery is basically is not looking for your face in history, but looking for your character in history. So if I think, for me, I want to know about expressing myself, then I would look at someone like Bruce Lee. Maybe traditionally I'm taught I'm not Chinese. I have nothing to do with Bruce Lee. I don't even practice martial arts, but philosophically, the way he was thinking, which is one of the most difficult things to do is to honestly express ourselves, I vibe with that. If we look at someone like Harriet Tubman, and we saw what she did for the slaves, and we thought that that was an injustice, and that's something that we vibe with. Now, even though we look at our skin color, or even the fact that she's a female, maybe in history I say, I can only relate to males. I see a female, I see her with her actions, and with her character, and what she's doing, now I find a way to relate to her. Looking at this, talking about ideas. So, every idea that we think that we have in our head, according to like the Akashic records, according to things existing in the ether and time being an illusion, all the ideas that have ever existed, all the ideas that exist, and all the ideas that will ever exist are all existing simultaneously at the same time. So let us consider at the same time that we don't want to disrespect and honor our genetic ancestors, at the same time that we want to do right by any decisions we might have made in a past life, let us also remind ourselves that a lot of these ideas that we have didn't originally come from us. And now it is our responsibility and our opportunity to take those ideas and either just regurgitate them and send them out or cultivate them and take them up to a higher level. So as we close off today with this particular talk, just want you to explore that, and any ideas that you may have, just thank the ancestor of that idea, and that it's actually finding us as a physical vessel to carry on this journey that it's going through, because ideas don't exist in the physical realm. They exist as intangible things in the ether. And this is the opportunity that we have with our ideas. So shout out to the ancestors. Also, one of my favorite rappers of all time, Idea. Shout out to Idea. Rest in peace. With that, I'm going to open it up for any questions anybody may ask. And just leave it off with that. This is just to consider the idea that our ancestors are ideas. And I'd be happy to continue the dialogue with anybody after this session. Any questions? Dustin. Thank you for that. One thing I did forget to say is that a lot of things, before they enter into the physical realm, they exist as ideas. Like this chair was an idea in somebody's mind. This event was an idea in Paul and Lauren's mind. And everything that we see around us in this realm was an idea first at one time. So thank you for that, Dustin. Anybody else have any other questions, comments, anything they want to add?
I'm thinking about being part of something bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine I have lots of pieces, my feet, my fingers, and they're all also thinking about being a part of something bigger. To me, it's obvious they're part of me. But to me, it's not obvious that I'm a part of, actually, it's getting more and more obvious. I'm a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But what is this? Is it this group? Is it this planet? Is it this universe? I don't really have a good idea. My assumption is it's the whole thing.
It's all of those.
It's all of those.
And that's where a future talk would come into play. And that's the importance of what do things mean? What's the definition of a thing? And here's the thing, who controls what that word means? So as far as like what it belongs to, it's like, well, what am I going to call it? And then when I call it something, when I give something a name, now I have to give it a definition. And this is another talk, but when things are in high resolution, when you can see things better, they say that that's high definition. When somebody has a well-defined jawline or defined muscles, that has to do with our ability to see. So I'll just leave that. That's another talk. But our ability to define our reality also is going to affect our ability to see our reality. Thank you for that. Anything else?
No one any glasses?
Huh?
The glasses related to that?
I don't know, but I have sunglasses in my pocket. Yeah. All right, cool. Thank you guys for your time and attention. And we'll move on to the next speaker. Peace.